Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyan Jana Shalakya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताकस्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमाचार्यपदाय निताय कृपप्रदायिने गौरकथा धामदाय नगरग्राम तारिणे नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are seeing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's different avatars. Personality of Godhead Krishna enjoys himself in 6 primary expansions. And we saw that that is Purusha avatars, Leela avatars, Guna avatars, Yuga avatars, Manvantara avatars, and Satyavesha avatars. Then his 2 manifestations are Prabhava and Vaibhava. Prabhava are fully potent like Krishna, and Vaibhava forms are partially potent. Okay, so that's what we saw. What are the Prabhava? Prabhavas who are very famous, like Dhanvantri, Rishabha, Vyasa, Dattatreya, and Kapila. And the Prabhava are also divided into 2, temporary and eternal. The temporary ones are like Mohini, Hamsavatar, and Shukla forms are manifested only temporarily in terms of a particular age. Among the other Prabhavas who are this thing, famous are the ones Dhanvantri, Rishabha, Vyasa, Dattatreya, and Kapila. So Prabhavas have potency, just like Krishna. But the Vaibhava forms are manifested in relation with excellences. So that means among the Vaibhava Prakasha, our forms are Kurma, Matsya, Naranarayana, Varaha, Hayagriva, Prishnigarbha, Baladeva, Yagnya, Vibhu, Satyasena. So like that, Prabhava and Vaibhava. And then you have, we saw Swayam Prakash. Prakash means the same, Krishna himself, that potency. Prakasha, yeah. This is Prabhava and Vaibhava. And we had Prakasha and Vilasa. Vilasa pastimes are those for the sake of Leelas. You know, it's slightly different in appearance. Amsha Saktya Vesha Rupe Dvividhavatara Bhalya Paughanda Dharma Duita Prakara. His incarnations are of 2 kinds, namely partial and empowered. He appears in 2 ages, childhood and boyhood. The Vilasa forms
Mataji, this is 2.100 you are reading.
2.98.
It was 2.100 actually.
No, I'm not finished reading all this.
Okay,
Vilasa. Yeah, I'd marked it. The Vilasa
okay, that's fine,
form.
Mataji. So you can announce 2.98, so it will be recorded that way.
Oh, okay. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 2, text 98. The Vilasa forms are 6 in number. The incarnations, so Vilasa are those which come for as incarnations. They are 6 in number. incarnations are of two varieties, namely Shaktya-vesha, empowered, and Amsha-vesha, partial. These incarnations also come within the category of Prabhava and Vaibhava manifestations. That is, one Prabhava is got in terms of potencies and Vaibhava in terms of excellences. Childhood and boyhood are the two special features of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. But his permanent feature is his eternal form as an adolescent youth. The original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is always worshipped in this eternal adolescent form. So, and the Vilasa forms are the ones who come here for the sake of pastimes, and they are 6 in numbers. And two of the varieties is talking about Shaktya-vesh and Amsha-vesh. Shaktya-vesh are even living entities who are empowered, and Amsha-vesha are partial expansions of himself. That means they are his expansion, but not with full potency like himself. Kishora Swarupa Krishna Swayam Avatari Krida Kare Yei Chaya Rupe Vishwabhari. The personality of God is Sri Krishna, who is eternally an adolescent, is the primeval Lord, the source of all incarnations. He expands himself in these 6 categories of forms to establish his supremacy throughout the universe. So all this is not available knowledge. Not these Mayavadis are not taught all this. They don't accept because they wonder how a one person can expand himself everywhere and take care. And so Krishna, because he has his own pastimes in the Goloka Vrindavana, plus he keeps on expanding himself into different forms to accomplish different things. So there's no problem in personalism. And he is eternally an adolescent. And he is the source of all incarnations. Ye chaya rupe haya ananta vibheda ananta rupe eka rupa nahi kichu bheda. In these 6 kinds of forms, there are innumerable varieties. Although they are many, they are all one. There is no difference between them. Purport. The personality of Godhead manifests himself in 6 different features. This is not that different types of incarnations. The personality of Godhead manifests himself in 6 different features. And what are that? Prabhava, Vaibhava, empowered incarnations, partial incarnations, childhood, and boyhood. The personality of God is Sri Krishna, whose permanent feature is adolescence, enjoys his transcendental proclivities by performing pastimes in these 6 forms. In these 6 features, there are unlimited divisions of the personality of God, its forms. The jivas or living beings are differentiated parts and parcels of the Lord. They are all diversities of the one without a second, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we are also Vibhinnamsha. Amsha is part of Krishna and Vishnu Tattva. And we are also parts, but differentiated parts. Chit Shakti, Swarupa Shakti, Antaranga Nama, Tahara Vaibhava, Ananta Vaikunta Didama. The Chit Shakti, which is also called Swarupa Shakti or Antaranga Shakti, displays many varied manifestations. It sustains the kingdom of God and its paraphernalia. So we have Sat, Chit, and Ananda, 3 this thing. So the Chit Shakti or Antaranga Shakti displays many varied manifestations. It sustains the kingdom of God and its paraphernalia. So anyway, it's Antaranga Shakti, which is also called Swarupa. So it's Antaranga Shakti, internal potencies. And okay, then Maya Shakti, Bahiranga, Jagata Karana, Tahara Vaibhava. Sorry, I said Satchit Ananda. No, this is Antaranga Shakti. Chit Shakti is also the name for Antaranga Shakti or spiritual potency. Maya Shakti Bahiranga Jagat Karana Tahara Vaibhava Ananta Brahmande Ragana. The external energy called Maya Shakti is the cause of innumerable universes with varied material potencies. Jiva Shakti Tatastakya Nahiyara Anta Mukyati Na Shakti Tara Vibheda Ananta. The marginal potency, which was between these two, consists of the numberless living beings. These are three principal energies which have unlimited categories and subdivisions. The internal potency of the Lord, which is called Chit Shakti or Antaranga Shakti, exhibits variegatedness in the transcendental Vaikuntha cosmos. Besides ourselves, there are unlimited numbers of liberated living beings who associate with the personality of Godhead in his innumerable features. The material cosmos displays the external energy in which the conditioned living beings are provided all liberty to go back to the personality of Godhead after leaving the material tabernacle. The Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.8 informs us, Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, na tat samas chabhyadikas cha drishyate, parasya shaktir vividaiva shruyate, swabhabiki jnana balakriya cha. The Supreme Lord is one without a second. He has nothing to do personally, nor does he have material senses. No one is equal to him nor greater than him. He has unlimited, variegated potencies of different names which exist within him as autonomous attributes and provide him full knowledge, power, and pastimes. So he has unlimited, variegated potencies of different names and which exist within him in autonomous attributes and provide him full knowledge, power, and pastime. So many Leela Shakti and Bhu Shakti, like that. There's so many Shaktis. But then the broad category is Antaranga and Bahiranga. So Antaranga Shakti's got many varieties. Emata Swarupa Gana Aratina Shakti Sabhara Ashraya Krishna Krishne Sabhara Stiti. These are the principal manifestations and expansions of the personality of Godhead and his three energies. They're all emanations from Sri Krishna, the transcendence. They have their existence in him. Yadyapi Brahmanda Ganera Purusha Ashraya Sei Purushadi Sabhara Krishna Mulashraya. Although the three Purushas are the shelter of the universes, Lord Krishna is the original source of the Purushas. So Purushavataras are Sankarshana, Pradyamna, and Aniruddha's expansion. So Vasudeva is the shelter of even the Purushas. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Krishna Sarvashraya Parama Ishvara Krishna Sarvashastrikaya. Thus, the personality of God is Sri Krishna, is the original primeval Lord, the source of all other expansions. All the revealed scriptures accept Sri Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. This is the first verse of the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita. ये सब सिद्धांत तुम्ही जाना भाला मते तबु पूर्व पक्षे करा आमाचा लाली चलाईते. You know all the conclusions of the scriptures very well. You create these logical arguments just to agitate me. A learned man who has thoroughly studied the scriptures cannot hesitate to accept Sri Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. If such a man argues about this matter, certainly he must be doing so to agitate the minds of his opponents. Sri Krishna Avatari Vrajendra Kumara Apani Chaitanya Rupe Kaila Avatara. That same Lord Krishna, the fountainhead of all incarnations, is known as the son of the king of Braja. He has descended personally as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ata eva Chaitanya Gosani Paratattva Sima Tandrik Shirodasai Kahi Kitandra Mahima. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is the supreme absolute truth. To call him Shirodakshai Vishnu does not add to his glory. So Shirodakshai Vishnu is only a Purusha avatara. Whereas Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is because people say you are the Narayana and all that. He is Swayam Krishna. Sita Bhaktera Vakya Nahi Vyabhichari Sakala Sambhave Tante Yate Avatari. But such words from the lips of a sincere devotee cannot be false. All possibilities abide in him, for he is the primeval Lord. Okay, who called them like that? Anyway, but such words from the lips of a sincere devotee cannot be false, because all possibilities abide in him. Everything is in him anyway. Avatarira dehe sab avatarira stiti keho kona mate kahe ye mana yara mati. All of the incarnations are potentially situated in the original body of the primeval Lord. Thus, according to one's opinion, one may address him as any one of the incarnations. It is not contradictory for a devotee to call the Lord by any one of the various names of his plenary expansions, because the original personality of Godhead includes all such categories. Since the plenary expansions exist within the original person, one may call him by any of these names. In the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Lord Chaitanya says, I was lying asleep in the ocean of milk, but I was awakened by the call of Nada, Sri Advaita Prabhu. Here the Lord refers to his form as Kshirodakshai Vishnu. So Krishna is there in all the forms because he only has expanded himself. There is only one God. There is no confusion. And we know that there is only one God, Krishna. And he takes on these different forms, and then that is only like a role play. And then he comes back. That same person, he expands himself, but then he also can come back to his own self. So that is why we can call him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is why he showed his avatara as Narsimhadev. He took the form of Narsimhadev. He took the form of Varaha. And who else he took? And of course, Radha and Krishna he showed. And Shiva. So it is the same person, that is Krishna himself. So has clearly said that. And he can also be Shirodakshai Vishnu, because that form is also coming from him. So if we just worship Krishna, everybody is included. Krishna ke kahai keha nara narayana kehu kahe Krishna haya sakshat vamana. Some say that Sri Krishna is directly Naranarayana. Others say that he is directly Vamana. Keho kahi Krishna Kshirodakshai avatara asambhava nahi satya vachana sabhara. Some say that Krishna is the incarnation of Kshirodakshai Vishnu. None of these statements is impossible. Each is correct as the others. So we don't have to keep fighting with them about this. It doesn't matter whatever their understanding is. The absolute, that is also in a sense, okay, it's all his form only. And so that is also correct as the others. The Laghu Bhagavatamrita states, according to the intimate relationships between Sri Krishna, the primeval Lord, and his devotees, the Puranas describe him by various names. Sometimes he's called Narayana, sometimes Upendra or Vamana, the younger brother of Indra, king of heaven, and sometimes Shirodakshai Vishnu. Sometimes he is called the 1,000-headed Sheshanaga, and sometimes the Lord of Vaikunta. केहू कहे परव्यो में नारायण हरि सकल संभवे Krishna yate avatari. Some call him Hari or the Narayana of the transcendental world. Everything is possible in Krishna, for he is the primeval Lord. And we know in the past times with the gopis, Krishna, once when he was hiding from them in the Ras Leela, and they were searching, and Krishna, at one point in time, he took the form of Narayana and he was standing. And then they thought maybe it's Krishna. They went running and then they saw, oh, it is Narayana. Then they just paid obeisances to him and asked, have you seen Krishna? Where is Krishna and all that? So, like that, he can take any form, Krishna, because it's all his form. सब श्रोता गणेरा करी चरण वंदना ये सब सिद्धांता सुना करी एकमाना. I offer my obeisances unto the feet of all who hear or read this discourse. Kindly hear with attention the conclusion of all these statements. Prostrating himself at the feet of his readers, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita entreats them in all humility to hear with rapt attention these conclusive arguments regarding the absolute truth. One should not fail to hear such arguments because only by such knowledge can one perfectly know Krishna. Those who don't know all these intricacies, they get stuck and then they will think this is only it. Anything different, they will not approve, they will not accept, they'll not be open-minded. But once we know the truth, we can say anything is possible with Krishna. So we will go through the scriptures. One who's strictly going by the scriptures, he'll be very open to learn new things because what we know is so limited. What we don't know is unlimited. So we don't know how Krishna will manifest in what ways, situations. That is why the more flexible one is, that's a sign of intelligence, to be flexible, because in the sense of accepting truths, not that whatever I know, that is all is the truth. Anything beyond that or different is not the truth. That is very fanatical. And then also we will break, because like the analogy is given that a tree which is like which bends and all that, in the storm it doesn't break, but a very erect tree which is not at all flexible, then it breaks. That's the first one to crack. So so we should be ready, because all this is actually quite confusing. Only even our Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all these discussions happen. Otherwise, it's not discussed even in the Vedas. It's not discussed even in the other Puranas. Only Bhagavatam and now Chaitanya Charitamrita is discussing all these things. Siddhanta bhaliya chitte na kare alasa iha haite Krishne lage sudhrida manasa. A sincere student should not neglect the discussion of such conclusions, considering them controversial. For such discussions strengthen the mind. Thus, one's mind becomes attached to Krishna. Oh, there are many students who, in spite of reading Bhagavad Gita, misunderstand Krishna because of imperfect knowledge and conclude him to be an ordinary historical personality. This one must not do. One should be particularly careful to understand the truth about Krishna. If, because of laziness, one does not come to know Krishna conclusively, one will be misguided about the cult of devotion, like those who declare themselves advanced devotees and imitate the transcendental symptoms sometimes observed in liberated souls. Although the use of thoughts and arguments is a most suitable process for inducing an uninitiated person to become a devotee. Neophytes in devotional service must always alertly understand Krishna through the vision of the revealed scriptures, the bona fide devotees, and the spiritual master. Unless one hears about Sri Krishna from such authorities, one cannot make advancement in devotion to Sri Krishna. The revealed scriptures mention 9 means of attaining devotional service, of which the first and foremost is hearing from authority. The seed of devotion cannot sprout unless watered by the process of hearing and chanting. One should submissively receive the transcendental messages from spiritually advanced sources and chant the very same messages for one's own benefit as well as the benefit of one's audience. When Brahma described the situation of pure devotees, freed from the culture of empiric philosophy and fruitive actions, he recommended the process of hearing from persons who are on the path of devotion, following in the footsteps of such liberated souls who are able to vibrate real transcendental sound, can lead one to the highest stage of devotion. And thus one can become a Mahabhagavata. From the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami, we learn Shastra Yukte Sunipuna Dhrida Shraddhayandra Uttama Adhikari Se Taraye Samsara. A person who is expert in understanding the conclusion of the revealed scriptures and who fully surrenders to the cause of the Lord is actually able to deliver others from the clutches of material existence. Srila Rupa Goswami in his Upadeshamrita advises us that to make rapid advancement in the cult of devotional service, one should be very much active and should persevere in executing the duties specified in the revealed scriptures and confirmed by the spiritual master. Accepting the path of liberated souls and the association of pure devotees enriches such activities. Nothing should be sentimental, but we accept everything based on Shastra. And by hearing that, so Upadeshamrita, Rupa Goswami advises that to make rapid advancement in the cult of devotional service, one should be very much active and should persevere in executing the duties specified in the revealed scriptures and confirmed by the spiritual master, accepting the path of liberated souls and the association of pure devotees enriches such activities. Imitation devotees who wish to advertise themselves as elevated Vaishnavas and who therefore imitate the previous acharyas but do not follow them in principle are condemned in the words of Srimad Bhagavatam as stone-hearted. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has commented on their stone-hearted conditions as follows. Those who shed tears by practice, Bahir Ashru Pulakayo Sator Api Yad Dridayam Na Vikriyate Tad Ashmasaram Iti Kanishtadikaranam Eva Ashrupulakadi Matve Api Ashma Tara Hridayataya Nindaisa. Those who shed tears by practice, but whose hearts have not changed, are to be known as stone-hearted devotees of the lowest grade. Their imitation crying, induced by artificial practice, is always condemned. The desired change of heart referred to above is visible in reluctance to do anything not congenial to the devotional way. To create such a change of heart, conclusive discussion about Sri Krishna and his potencies is absolutely necessary. False devotees may think that simply shedding tears will lead one to the transcendental plane. even if one has not had a factual change of heart. But such practice is useless if there is no transcendental realization. False devotees, lacking the conclusion of transcendental knowledge, think that artificially shedding tears will deliver them. Similarly, other false devotees think that studying books of the previous acharyas is unadvisable, like studying dry empiric philosophies. But Srila Jiva Goswami, following the previous acharyas, has inculcated the conclusion of the scriptures in the six, these called the Shat Sandarbhas. False devotees who have very little knowledge of such conclusions fail to achieve pure devotion for want of real knowledge, want of false devotees who have very little knowledge of such conclusions fail to achieve pure devotion for want of zeal in accepting the favorable directions for devotional service given by self-realized devotees. Such false devotees are like impersonalists who also consider devotional service no better than ordinary fruitive actions. So this is very much recommended that the sincere student should not fail to hear all the shastric conclusions, considering them controversial. Because somebody says something and another person says another thing, and then we don't want to get into controversies. Why we should get, I mean, we should not neglect the discussion of such things, because for such discussions strengthen the mind. Thus, one's mind becomes attached to Sri Krishna. Naturally, when you see that how much, I mean, all the powers of Krishna, his Shaktis, and his expansions, and his Leelas, and to understand how he alone is expanding himself, that if you can call him by any name, ultimately it is only Krishna who's the supreme, and everyone else is expanded from him, and they converge in him also. So all these things, first of all, for contemplation, it's very nice, because most people don't know who is God and what does he do. Imagine in what a state of, they have some faith, all religions they tell, but without much knowledge. They just have something intuitive faith. God must be there everywhere. At least in Christianity, they say that, oh, God is in my heart and he's everywhere. I don't know about everywhere, whether they have that knowledge. So, but whatever it is, they don't know, because how can they have Bhagavan realization? Because they don't know who is Bhagavan, how does he look, and what does he do. So, see how crippled the knowledge is. You can't realize God through that. No other religion talks about God at all. And here, such perfect description, and with so much rationale, so much of intelligence. This is really, I mean, it satisfies all levels of people. Some people are intellectual, they want to analyze, understand, and that is full of this, that also. And those who have more devotion and faith, for them also, this knowledge is very appealing, because it increases their faith and devotion to Krishna. You can appreciate him even more. How he is everything. You're just saying, yeah, God is everything, everywhere. But how he is everywhere? How does he expand himself? How is that same Krishna? Actually, if you see among Hindus also, they may say, yeah, God is everywhere. Do you know how he is everywhere? They won't know. I just heard and I believe he must be everywhere. They won't have actual faith, because faith has to be based on true knowledge. And that is why we should not think, oh, I don't need all that. I have faith in Krishna, that is enough. The how he, I mean, when we know all these truths from the Shastras, then it makes us appreciate Krishna even more. and have complete faith. See, for them, in the other religions, when they surrender or they have faith, it is a lot of blind faith. They don't have knowledge about how Krishna is going to take care of us. But here we have complete knowledge about Krishna, his potencies, how he is going to take care of us, everything. And so then we will never flounder. Otherwise, sometimes when things are not going our way and, or Maya herself maybe, Maya is quite powerful. And unless we understand, okay, this is a Bahiranga Shakti, I mean, Krishna's Bahiranga Shakti. So we always try to pray to the Antaranga Shakti. Yeah, Radharani and all her, this Yogamaya, all this, please, you pull me to your side. I don't want to be an external energy. So we have people, and that is our strength. Otherwise, these jnanis and yogis, they don't have people, everything. Actually, Chanakya Pandit said that if you're doing tapasya, you do it alone. Okay, then if you want to study Shastra, then you do it with two people, that is you and another person, so that you can discuss and learn more like that. Then if you are going on if you're singing, then three people should sing together. If you're going on a journey, then so, then four people can go on a journey, because you shouldn't go alone. You should always go with a group. And that is Chanakya's advice. And then 5 people is for agriculture. You want to go cultivate the land, take 5 people with you. That is totally including you, 5 people should do. And if it is for a war, then you should take as many people as possible for a fight. Even the whole country can go for a fight, like Israel did now to fight against this Hamas. Everyone, the whole country, all the men, even common men, all were ready. They said, we'll go and fight. So for fighting for your country, everyone can go. So like that, we have Shastra. By discussing Shastra, then our faith increases. And it's also mentioned by, the source, I'm not sure, but I heard it from, one reliable source, that, no, it's in Padma Purana, right? That whatever you study, even if it's from a Brihaspati, even if your guru is Brihaspati, from your teacher, from just listening to the class, you can get 25% of the knowledge or understanding and everything. Then by discussing with others, students, fellow students, discussing more, then you get another 25%. Then after that, if you are, then you yourself try to apply it in your life, then you get more 25% of realization. So 75%. Then the remaining you develop during the course of your life, because through experience and, in that way it becomes fully. Yeah, that is discussion. So that is why we have preaching also. Whatever you learn, you teach, right? The second, by discussing, you can understand very nicely. That is why we need to preach. We need to teach others. Whatever we learn, we teach, then our knowledge expands and we get another 25% of whatever we learn. So that is why Shastra, we've got wonderful way of so much to discuss, how much knowledge we have. And we are the only people who don't touch the Shastras, that is the Hindus. Imagine what a storehouse we have. Everything, ultimate truth is available here in all perfect understanding. It's not just blind faith. We're not told you better, you have faith, otherwise you'll go rot in hell. No, you don't have faith, no problem. study the Shastras, you don't have faith because of ignorance. And here is the knowledge. And once you know this, you have not, you have to have faith, because voluntarily you'll see, unless somebody wants to remain an atheist, is a rascal number one, and he doesn't want to go to God, that's another thing. But if somebody wants God, he wants to know the truth, but he doesn't have much faith, he's skeptical, because of lack of knowledge, and he comes and listens to this, such advanced knowledge is here. Everything is given. All the perfect activities of God, how he manages the entire creation, what he does in the spiritual world. And Krishna reveals himself so much about himself that he attracts devotees also to have a close relationship. See, because if you just know his Shaktis and his expansions and all, you might still not feel close to him, may not want to be attracted to have a relationship, loving relationship with him. So he comes here and he shows all his antaranga pastimes and says, you can also be part of this. So where else will you find this body of knowledge? It's really mind boggling how we are so fortunate, but we don't know even a part of it. But we are so grateful to Prabhupada for translating the essential ones. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come only, learning about the goal of life and how to get the goal of life has all become so simple and very, like a formula. We know everything. We can preach in, say, somebody new comes also, we can tell them very quickly in 1 hour's time, we can convince them that this is the process. So we are able to do that, but not so before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had gone to East Bengal to teach all the students there and to make some this thing also as a grihastha for financially also he needed it. So when he went there, at the end, Tapan Mishra, he came. He was a Brahmana who was very well read in the Shastras, and he did not know still what is the ultimate goal of life and what is the path to achieve it. And this was very disturbing. See, someone is looking for the truth, and you don't know where to look for it. You'll become very, very disturbed and agitated, is it not? I mean, because if you're really looking and you don't, for us, both those things, either we are looking and then we found it in this, which is fully satisfying. So we cannot, um, you know, empathize with a person who's struggling to know the truth and there is nobody to tell. Maybe we should think about our pre-Krishna conscious days. If we were looking for the truth and we didn't know where to look, everywhere you read all half-hearted things which don't satisfy you at all. And you don't know what is the purpose of living. What is the goal of life? Nowhere will you find. And you feel very, very frustrated. So he was like that. And then, because he was a very sincere devotee, so one spiritual being came in his dream and he told him that you go and ask Nimai Pandit, because at that time he was there on the banks of the Padmavati river, he was teaching, giving education. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, within 2 months, he taught everything and they made them all well versed. He got their university degrees in 2 months. So, anyway, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's potency. So, that is why we should take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he can make us advance very quickly. Not only does he give all the Shastric knowledge in very, very easy steps so that you get the conclusion of those Shastras very easily. And very quickly also he gives. That is his great mercy. So this Tapan Mishra, somebody came in some spiritual being came in his dream and he told him that go and meet Nimai Pandit. So he was very happy. He went there and he threw himself at his lotus feet and he begged him to tell him what is the purpose of life and all that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told him and that right now you just chant Hare Krishna mantra. This is the best of the mantras. And if you keep chanting, chant it non-stop. And if you chant very sincerely, you yourself will understand from within. But I will teach you later, he told him, because At that time, he didn't have like what we have. Anybody, we have all these small books now. Somebody comes and says, "Oh, tell me what's the purpose of life here. Take this book and read." We can give them. But he didn't, there were no books then at that time like this. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the one who made it so easily available scientifically through steps and all that. He made it a science. Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, people thought, oh, we don't know, we have to, it just happens or something. But he said everybody can become a topmost devotee. That is a big revelation, because until then people thought you have to be a born devotee. Some people are all very great devotees by birth, others all just whatever level they are, something they do, so do pious activities so that you get nice punya karma. This is all they knew. And that's why those who were looking beyond that were so frustrated, because everywhere you go, they'll only tell you karma kand things and nothing beyond that. What's the purpose of life? So then he said, then you go to Banaras and I'll come and teach you. And by then, of course, in Banaras, I think that is where he also gave instructions to Sanatan Goswami. I don't know if he was there at that time, but no, he also, maybe, yes, he was there. This Tapan Mishra, I told him, you go and wait for me there. I will come and I will guide you. Till then, you be chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So we have such a wonderful, I mean, we should be very grateful for that. The more we read all this and the more we see how people are all struggling without a clue about what is the absolute truth, what is the purpose of life. And because of lack of knowledge, those who are practicing other religions, they have to have some blind faith. Without much knowledge, it's very difficult. And only out of fear, mostly they tell you better believe, otherwise you're going to rot in hell, burn in fire. And so, okay, I will believe. But out of fear only, oh, if I don't do, then God is going to punish me. I don't know who's that God. Then how we can become attracted to that God whom we are afraid that he's going to punish us if we don't pray to him. Whereas here Krishna is so, I mean, it is actually such a revelation. What is the personality of Krishna? He is cool. He is not that you have to worship me, otherwise you'll die. It's not like that. He's giving all the knowledge. Now you choose. Now, if you don't come to me, these are the consequences. Very nicely, he says, very, very detached. And he tells, actually, the modern youth, they want a Krishna kind of counselor only. Because Krishna is very cool. He doesn't say, you have to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to punish you. He doesn't talk like that at all, even to Arjuna. See, Arjuna, these are all the things. This is what my powers are. I am this, everything. Now you decide what you want to do. Or you didn't understand, I'm ready to explain to you. Then you said, you decide what you want to do. So you give the truth, the knowledge, and then person decides on his own. He says, yes, I decided. Nobody forced me. And I decided not because of fear, but because full knowledge I know, and I'm using my intelligence to decide. I choose on my own what is correct. That freedom we should give people. We should give all the knowledge, you decide. No force. Because then only the soul will feel happy. Soul wants freedom, freedom of choice. You want to love somebody of your own. I mean, love means full freedom. Krishna gives us freedom. He doesn't force us to love him. Now, what is that love if you force? So he says, you decide whether you want to love me or not. But I'm very lovable. See what I am. He comes and shows, and then still, if we are stuck to Maya, then we don't even find him attractive. But if you're looking for the truth, then completely with our intellect, we can be convinced that we have to worship. I mean, this is the perfection. Even if we are attached to mundane things, things which we know, but then intellectually we can understand, I'm going to suffer. There's no point in carrying on in this materialistic way. I have to become Krishna's servant. Intellectually, at least, we should understand, with all this knowledge, he's such a great person, and why I'm trying to be independent and trying to enjoy and compete with him. It's ridiculous. and I'm suffering and making a fool of myself. So intellectually also we can compare. It's not just fear. Oh, it says Shastra is saying, Shastra is saying. Why Shastra is saying? Everything is very clear. And in the course of our life, we ourselves can see. If I don't follow Shastra, I'm getting kicks. I'm suffering. So it is true. And when I'm worshipping Krishna, there are reciprocations. So definitely Krishna is there. And we discuss with other people and they share their realizations and understanding, and our knowledge becomes more strong. So that is why this Chaitanya Charitamrita they are saying that don't think, oh, I don't want to hear all this. It's very important. And then authentically, it is not just sentiment, but based on complete knowledge that there is no truth but this supreme person. He's everywhere, all the time, all knowing, all loving person, and I have to be connected with him. Otherwise I'm going to suffer. Not in that fearful way, but then if I'm not in knowledge, I'm in darkness, I'm going to anyway do all nonsense things, and I have no control over myself, and I do make a fool of myself. Where people can see that. And I mean, we can, as devotees also, we know if we forget Krishna, oh, I'll do some nonsense. Maya, either Maya will catch me and make me do some this thing. Because you see, some people, why do they do such horrible things? Why? I mean, they may be also having some faith, little faith, whatever they have, and they do the most abominable things, and you wonder why. Like, the latest, the Darshan, the actor, what made him act? I was just thinking, why did he do all crazy things like this? First of all, he had a nice wife. I mean, she looks very pleasant, and whatever it is, it's a wife, and she is very loving to him. And then he goes after this actress. Okay, she's maybe whatever it is, they have those kind of lives anyway. But to the extent of losing your intelligence to try and murder a fan was just okay, whatever it is, he must have insulted. He could have just threatened him and told him, I'll do something to you. He didn't give him a chance only, just went and bashed him up and killed him. What makes some people act like this? I mean, he's a famous person. He's very, why did he act like that? So it is because when you are under the clutches of Maya, you just don't have any control. You Maya can make you do anything. That is what is the frightening thing. If we just we cannot think that, oh, I will never do such things. You If we are in Maya and we are attached to something and we refuse to take shelter of Krishna, Maya can make us also do any nonsense. She is controlling us. So where is our control? That is why we should be afraid of Maya. Oh my God, no, no, no. I'm not going into Maya's way because she can make me do anything, most abominable things also. And I don't want my life to be a failure like that. His life is a complete failure now. What is there to look forward to? He has to go to the jail and count this thing, all the bars over there. After such a famous and a very successful life, what is the use? And so that is why this knowledge is so fantastic, because we need to be God conscious. Otherwise, we are in trouble. We have already done so many, 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 many lifetimes of how many in ignorance we have been leading so many different lifetimes. And now, because we have this knowledge, it's such a enlightening, liberating, and that's what is going to protect us and take us back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Yeah. We'll go for prayers now. Um, We pray for his, first we pray for His Holiness Jaipatak Swami, for his complete recovery.